Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
He's back! He's back!
I'm back.
Oh, boys! I'm
C105.
And we're back!
Yes, welcome back to the unconventional Gab and Chatter episode we have going on.
Yes.
We're in the back half. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And this is going to be just streaming picks.
Movies.
Want to watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney+, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
Yes, streaming picks. Movies that we watched on our streaming services this week that you can watch too.
For the past 2 weeks.
For the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks worth.
And we had Joseph and I had 2 weeks off for a side project for a short film. If you don't know anything about it, that means you didn't listen to the first half of the Gab and Chatter.
Mother Wound, check it out.
Mother
July,
Wound, yeah.
2025.
Hoping for July.
Oh,
Which-
wait, it has to come out in July because it rhymes. Mother Wound, July, 2025.
I didn't know wound rhymes with July.
I feel like I hope they finish it by Mother's Day.
Oh, in May?
Yeah.
Is that May?
Yeah. And if you didn't listen to the first half of this
Gab and
Chatter
Yeah.
/ stream pick, you also don't know why we're doing it this way because
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot.
Pete and I fumbled a little bit.
Yeah, we fucky uppy.
Yeah, they pulled a Tyler.
Yeah, we did. We
Although I don't recall ever not watching a movie for the show.
you joke about it often. You say
You just don't show up.
Yeah, that's that's the real pulling a
Or
Tyler.
you fall asleep.
20 minutes late, 10 phone calls later, Tyler's asleep on his couch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Didn't you say you did that for Thanksgiving? What was your call time for Thanksgiving at the Minor Manor?
Oh, yeah.
Mansion Day Minor.
Yeah, so
AKA
I
the
was
Puppy's Villa.
I was supposed to show up at the palatial estate of my parents at 4:30. I got ready in time, and then I made the very big mistake of laying down on my recently purchased beanbag chair. What they call it? Like what is it? A love?
You got a love sack?
A love sack.
Love sack, baby.
How much did that cost you? Because they're like $1,500 normally.
$65, man.
Holy shit.
Facebook Marketplace is the way to go.
Are you serious? You got that on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah.
With any stains on it?
If you're ever going to get rid of it, let me know. I know a guy who can sanitize it really good, so I can use it.
I was going to say, I was like, yeah, you probably don't want it after I use it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see what I'm going to do with that thing.
I have big plans.
They don't call it a love sack for a reason.
That's right. So anyways, you fell asleep.
Yeah, so I fell asleep, and then I was getting texted by my sister and
where are
the
you?
matriarch of the family, like, where are you? What are you doing? I thought you were coming for Thanksgiving. Failure in my eyes. Like, please just do this one thing. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, shit. And so I went and
She's in the chat. Mama Miner's in the chat.
Oh, hey, what's up, Jamie?
She almost called the police.
I was going to say that was probably the next step was call the police.
yeah.
Call the police. Tyler's not here. It's Thanksgiving. What were you assigned to bring?
Anything?
Rolls?
Bring.
Rolls?
Did you bring anything?
Myself.
You know, after you're an adult, if you're going to
I
an
understand.
engagement,
I know where you're going with
you're
this.
supposed
yes.
to bring something. If you can't bake or cook or anything, bottle of wine, rolls.
Well, again,
Some Pepsi.
Again, like we've established, I'm underdeveloped. All right.
See, but that's by choice. Though.
It's a medical prognosis that has been given to me by Dr. Joseph Navarro.
So you didn't bring anything? Is this a bit?
A bit. It's not a bit.
Well, Ugly Truth, also Tyler's mother, says that she'll one day require you to bring napkins, not from an AM PM.
Next year, I'm going to challenge you, Tyler. I want you to bring, without being asked, rolls and a drink. That's step one.
Pepsi and ring dings.
You know what? I might. You know, I am going to be entering the 33rd year of existence in my life next year, so I think it's about time that I might, bring a little.
It's time to grow up.
But yeah, grow up. Yeah, I think it's about time. It's been. I mean, I've been
15 years. No,
I've been loose. Enough about me. This is about streaming picks. God damn it.
You know what? You're right. Let's, Joseph, why don't you lead us off with some streaming picks?
All right.
2 weeks worth.
Quite a bit. I watched in total 27 movies in the 2 weeks that we were not recording.
What are you just watching movies in between takes?
Yeah, that was a lot of them were like rewatches or just like kind of not worth bringing up. Like I did the Lord of the Rings marathon just one day after the next.
Time of the
3 days in
season.
a row or same day?
No, not the same day.
Okay.
No, I didn't have time for that.
I mean, it is that time of the season to rewatch the trilogy.
Have you done all 3 extendeds in one day?
No, because I've never had that much free time.
Yeah. You got to take a whole day. It's 11 hours and 38 minutes.
For some reason, I thought it was longer.
No.
You would think.
Yeah, it's almost 4 hours per.
It could do 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. basically. But I won't be talking about those. Those are all on HBO if you want to watch them. So I caught up with first, actually, a big announcement for me.
Oh, okay.
I did it.
You did it? All right, sweet.
I did it.
I did it.
I watched over 500 movies
All right, congratulations.
for the year. It was a task, but it was definitely fun. I don't know if I would try to do it again, but it was.
Was it a goal for you?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the first goal was just one every day of the year. And then I got past that and I was like, well, I guess I still have so much time left. I'll just keep going.
I didn't know that was a mission.
Yeah, it was fun. I watched a lot of shit. My official number right now is 511 movies logged.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But the first movie of the last 2 weeks that I watched, I caught up with a Coen joint, A Serious Man.
Oh, yeah.
A Serious Man is a very good movie.
Yeah, it's solid.
Streaming on Max. This follows a man who is serious. He's a professor at a college, and this takes place in like the 70s, or no, maybe even earlier than that. Maybe around there. And it's very like, it takes place within also like a Jewish community, and like very heavily Jewish community. And
Oh yeah, it's part of your tribe.
No, that's mine.
No,
Oh,
because
that's a
remember
Jew.
Joseph said he was part of.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
I'm part Jewish.
Me and Joseph are
1%,
both now 1%.
1%, yeah. And this stars Michael Stolberg. He's been in various movies and various roles. He was in Arrival. He was in The Shape of Water. He plays the lead in A Serious Man. And by the end of this movie, you're kind of like, it's almost like the message is like, you can do all of the right things and then do one thing wrong, and then your whole life is ruined.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme of the movie. And it's a dark comedy. It's very like closer to like a Burn After Reading type of comedy in style, I guess. But yeah, it was very good. Streaming on Max.
I tried to start A Serious Man, and I couldn't get past like
too
the
serious.
first. I got 20 minutes in, and I got bored so quickly. I was like, I don't know.
So that's streaming on Max. I went on like after I watched Bowling for Columbine that few weeks ago, and I realized that, or Deanna realized that she had never seen a Michael Moore documentary, and she only caught the last half of Bowling for Columbine. So we went on like a Michael Moore marathon.
Oh, cool.
So we watched Fahrenheit 911, 9/11, Fahrenheit, Capitalism, A Love Story, and Sicko, and which are all like very like interesting and captivating documentaries. And I know he was like, at the time he was making these, they were kind of like, he was like on like a he was very much in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, that's
at
what
that
I was
time
gonna say,
in
yeah.
between 2004 and 2009. He would like the new Michael Moore documentaries out. It was like a name that you like people had to go see.
Yeah.
And they're all like they're focused on kind of like the average person, people suffering from like capitalism and greed and and healthcare and insurance and all this stuff, and gun violence with Columbine, and him trying to talk to people and pulling stunts, which is like he's very bold to do some of the stuff, like just kind of charging into like to a big office building and just trying to demand answers, even though it's like kind of an unrealistic thing for anybody to do, to just walk in. I need to speak to the boss. Of this entire corporation, but it's just the stunt itself. Sicko and Capitalism: A Love Story are very similar because they're both kind of like, one is just more hyper focused on health insurance specifically, whereas Capitalism kind of is more of a broader scope of people who just suffer from corporate greed, and like the victims of that. And there's a lot of tragic stories in there that he in the interviews that he has, and they're good. They're well put together. Whether or not you don't like or like Michael Moore himself as a person,
I couldn't tell you honestly. I don't think I've seen any of his stuff either.
They're all streaming on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
That's where I watched all of them, and they're very entertaining. They're if they're not like, as far as like the accuracies versus inaccuracies, it's still very relevant to today because it's nothing changes in America, at least. And so those are all on Tubi, all worth a watch in my opinion. I caught up with Ingrid Goes West.
Oh yeah, nice.
Aubrey Plaza, Elizabeth Olsen movie, and this is also streaming on Tubi. And this is basically like The Fanatic, but with Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
But she's more of a less like focused on like the person, and more she just has a very stalkerish just personality.
Yeah.
And so she
plays that role very well.
She just finds this person who is an influencer, hybrid celebrity kind of.
Yeah.
And then just like wants to be that person, wants to have that attention. And
it's interesting because I always thought that she wanted to be like more like in that circle rather than her being that person.
Well, she kind of molds herself to be her specifically, Elizabeth Olsen's character.
This is
like
perverted. This is creepy.
She goes to the same cafe. She changes her hair. She like tries to like say that she read the same book, all this stuff, just to like almost like replace her in a sense. And this was a like creepy, kind of hard to watch, like cringy, like not like the movie itself, but just like her putting herself in the situation,
uncomfortable situations. Yeah. And Ice-T's son is in there. I mean, Ice Cube's son.
Ice Cube's son. Yeah.
It looks exactly like
I'm sure
him.
he loves it when people call him Ice Cube's son instead of his actual birth name.
But yeah,
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know.
Me either.
Ice Cube Jr.?
What's Ice Cube's name?
Cubey? Cubert? Maybe his name is Cubert.
Icicles Cubert. I don't know. But yeah, Ingrid Goes West, worth a watch.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Oh, yeah.
He is a junior, just not Cube.
Yeah, definitely. I love Ingrid Goes West. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was solid. I finally caught up with Maya Hayazaki's final movie, The Boy and the Heron.
Oh, yeah.
Streaming on Max. It's good. Not as good as his other stuff.
Oh.
It's definitely very strange. Obviously, his movies are...
His stuff is weird.
Is weird, but this, like... It didn't, like... There was no, like, kind of, like, pull on the heartstrings or any sort of, like... anything, like, emotional that I could...
No schmaltz.
Connect to, anyway. You have Robert Pattinson giving it his all in this voiceover, his voice performance. It's like, it sounds like he's doing a Willem Dafoe impression.
Oh, interesting.
Even though Willem Dafoe is also in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And then the Heron himself is like, it's called The Boy and the Heron, but the Heron is like this really just odd character in this movie. It's not really a heron. Once you watch the movie, it's like this weird hybrid human gnome heron thing.
It's like the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth. Definitely not a fawn.
Yeah.
Not
So
how we know it.
it's not quite as good as like Mononoke or Spirited Away, but it's still
It's a
good.
really high bar.
It's still good.
Yeah. Cool. Good.
I mean, he said it himself. So.
It's on Max.
I mean, this was the movie that he made that he said he wasn't going to make because after I can't remember the last movie he made, but I do distinctly remember him saying, "I'm not making movies again."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got another one.
He always says that.
Yeah.
He's coming back. So that's The Boy and the Heron streaming on Max. I caught up with Woman of the Hour, streaming on Netflix, and a Kendrick directed starred movie.
Yep.
Solid, entertaining, very well put together movie. And it was creepy. Like the guy who played the serial killer did a good job.
Yeah, that parking lot scene was really well done.
Yeah.
Tension.
And like the end, I kind of enjoyed the ending, how it just kind of like, it just like, it ends and then you just like, it gives you the facts or whatever, the little like text on screen.
That one girl's like,
Call the police!
Yeah. I mean, it was a kind of a brutal lead up to that moment, like when she wakes up
yeah.
in the morning and he's like sobbing on the ground.
Yeah.
Like he's
He's fucked up.
like he's Gollum and Schmeagol. Like,
You know what? Something about that guy tells me there's something wrong with him.
yeah.
There's something wrong with him.
I caught up with Tyler's stream pick. I watched Predestination,
Oh, okay.
and that was a wild movie. I wouldn't call it a good movie, but I don't know. I can't remember if you liked it or not.
It was partial to it.
Fascinating. It's streaming on Netflix, and it was very convoluted premise.
Yeah.
It was like, because he's like this guy and also this guy, and then this wouldn't happen if you get in that time loop situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, when did it start? When did the loop start?
Mm-hmm.
So how did we get here? We didn't see that part.
Yeah.
So it just gets kind of weird.
Interesting. Tripp says it was 90 minutes well spent.
But it was a wild movie.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
It was well made. Like it's produced well.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it was like an 80s movie concept wrapped around in a modern lens.
I think the saving concept is that they didn't focus on the time travel aspect as much. It was just more of a vehicle to move the plot forward, which I appreciated because I don't like it when, like, I mean, if you compare, like, let's say Primer to this movie, Primer, like, you know, there's like whole infographics about that movie, but this movie is kind of just like, I think there's one specific scene in that movie where they say like, oh yeah, if you go back in time, it doesn't matter. It's not changing anything. It's okay, cool.
No big deal. Just do it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to like pull the trigger on himself at one point. I was like, he's gonna stop.
But he did something else, didn't he?
He's gonna stop the loop. Yeah, he did something. He did something else.
Looper style.
It gets really weird.
It gets really
very weird.
So the real question is, would you blow yourself if you came back from the future as your dad? Is that what happened?
I mean
more or less.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Wow, I really need to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's streaming on Netflix.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Not streaming, but I went and saw Anora.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, saw Anora. It's in theaters right now, I believe, still.
New Sean Baker movie.
Sean Baker, Florida Project, Tangerine, Red Rocket.
Yeah.
And Anora, very good. It was not what I was expecting at all, I think. Part of it was, and then it took a turn. I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. It's very much like a Safdie Brothers movie at one point, where it turns into like a wild goose chase with like these quote unquote mafia men, but they're not really mafia men.
I thought they were like Russian oligarch something or others.
It has like a mob movie. They have like a mob presence, but they are not the mob.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that, like the way that they talk to each other, and
Gabagool.
they're Russian.
Yeah.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
Very good.
But it was very entertaining and very well shot, and the character of Anora is really good, and Mikey Madison did a really good job. And by like the last scene is really it's like I have conflicting feelings about it, but it is like a heartbreaking moment, and then the movie's over.
Did she get set on fire by a flamethrower in this movie?
Oh no.
No? Okay. It's just the one movie then.
Just the one movie, yeah.
Okay.
Where she's her lines are just screaming.
Yeah. This is not set in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood universe.
No, this is modern day New York.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine streaming on Disney+. And it was entertaining. I think as far as the Deadpool movies go, I feel like the second one is the best one. I feel like I didn't like Wolverine in this movie. I didn't like the character of Wolverine. I know he's like from a different timeline, so he has like a different background. I don't know. I just feel like he was just pissed off the whole time.
That's Wolverine. Yeah.
I know. The effects and some of the fight scenes were really cool, like really well put together, even though it was a little bit of a CGI fest, but it was like really well animated.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the story that much. I didn't get the motivation for Mr. Darcy just to be like, I want to be the boss.
I mean, that's an absolute...
And I was waiting for a Mr. Darcy reference.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for that to happen.
It's about the only reference they didn't make.
I know. I was disappointed that there was no like any sort of any callback.
Yeah.
At all. It's right there.
They show the clip of him walking into the mist.
And the cameos were ruined because of social media at this point. I didn't go out and see it right away. But there's a lot of characters that don't have like speaking roles in the movie that like I was surprised to see. Like some big callbacks with some characters that you just see like in a battle scene where they have no lines. Yeah. You just see them, they're there. But it was entertaining. It was a fun movie.
That's on Disney+.
That is now on Disney
Cool.
Plus. And I watched Sting.
Oh yeah.
Spider movie. Big spider movie. It's on Hulu now, I think. Entertaining, kind of schlocky.
I like those door handles.
Spider door handles.
Super high on the door.
Oh, I didn't even notice the door handles.
Oh my God. So distracting for me. Jack said, I visited my family on the other side of the continent or something, and it's an older house, and yeah, the door handles were a lot higher.
Yeah.
Of course, Jack's like 9 feet tall, so.
Yeah. So that's streaming on Hulu, and that was a fun enough movie. Like, I feel like it's probably one and done movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to revisit that.
And on Thanksgiving, after we got home from Thanksgiving, I watched Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Eli Roth's Thanksgiving movie came out last year. Honestly, I feel like it should just be called Black Friday.
There's a movie just came out this year called Black Friday.
I know, I saw that. And but because it's more germane to like what happens on Black Friday, and it's like a I know what you did last summer premise.
I know what you did last Black Friday.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Pretty much.
It's just like you learn right away. There's an incident at a Walmart. It's called Right Mart in this story, and it's locally owned store that sells anything a Walmart would sell, TVs and stuff. And so there's like this huge rush on Black Friday that ends in some casualties. And it's very. I mean, I don't know if Black Friday is actually that intense.
It used to be,
but yeah, not anymore because it's very casual now.
Yeah,
more like Casual Friday.
You know why they call it Black Friday?
I used to.
People died?
No.
Wow.
No, because it's in financial terms, if you're in the negative, it's red. The ink is red on the page or on the graph. As soon as you get into the positive, it's black. So it's like basically taking these companies that are maybe at a slight deficit for the year and getting a huge injection of sales on one day, get them back into the black.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was a fun movie. Me and Dana had a good time just trying to figure out who it was the whole time.
Yeah.
We're like, he's got motive, but he's got motive too.
That was a good one. There was a lot of options in that one.
Yeah. They did a good job of, I was disappointed in who it was by the end of it. Also, massive plot hole, I think, in this movie.
Oh yeah?
I can't really talk about it without spoiling it. There's a character, he's chasing her, and she gets caught in a fence, climbs over a fence, and then he gets up to the fence just as she goes over, and he's just standing there, the killer. And then she's running, and then she runs into somebody
who ends up being the killer.
Yes, and then And then he tells a story later about, because he's got somebody in his trunk. And it's like, but you just ran from him. How is he there already? Like, it makes no sense.
I don't remember that much, but
It was.
I feel like rewatching it because it was fun.
It was fun. But it was like, by the end of it, was like, how does that make sense? Deanna was like, there has to be more than one of them.
This could never happen.
Well, it's just like, it's a big, and I know that it's like supposed to be kind of a schlocky horror movie. There's a lot of gore.
None of the people in this movie are good people.
But it just didn't make sense. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then I watched my last movie that I watched streaming on Amazon Prime. Oh, Thanksgiving is on Netflix. Streaming on Amazon Prime, I watched Everybody Wants Some.
Okay.
It's a Richard Linklater movie. Came out in 2016. And this stars...
Why did I think this was a Spike Lee movie?
I don't know. The cast is only white people, so it couldn't be.
Okay, yeah. Good point.
This stars Zoe Deutsch, Glenn Powell, Wyatt Russell.
It's a new movie.
2016. So it's newer, yeah. And a bunch of other people that I didn't really recognize, but those are the only three, like the biggest ones. And it takes place in 1980, and it's not like a coming of age story at all. It's more like this guy goes to college, he's a freshman, and he plays baseball, and he lives in a house with all of his other teammates.
Okay.
Like, kind of not really a frat house, just like a house with a bunch of people on the same baseball team, college baseball. And it's a comedy, but it's probably one of the weaker Linklater movies. It has like Dazed and Confused energy, but it's not nearly as good as Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's not really anything to... It's not a whole lot that happens in the movie. There's not like any huge conflicts.
So it's just a hangout movie.
Yeah, it's just like these guys hanging out, and there's like situational...
Just these guys hanging out.
It's a hangout movie, yeah.
It's a situational conflicts that kind of like they get over like as each scene ends, you know? And it's just like guys busting each other's balls. Glenn Powell is not the main character, but I liked his character in this movie. He's like this very charming, kind of like faux intelligent ladies man. And there's some good scenes with him, and he's got some good writing. But the main character is like, he's okay. Wyatt Russell plays like this weird hippie.
I feel like I've seen clips from this because Wyatt Russell and Glenn Powell sounds familiar.
Yeah, Wyatt Russell plays like this weird hippie baseball player. He's a pitcher.
This is supposed to be like early 80s, right?
1980, yeah.
Okay.
The very earliest of the 80s.
If you got any earlier than this, it'd be the 70s.
I know. And when I first started, I was like, oh great, another Linklater movie that takes place in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then
little did you know.
Yeah.
What?
1 year later.
Yeah.
It's another Dick Linklater one.
And at one point I was like, how long is this movie? And because I got to a point, I was like, where's it going? Like, where's it going to go?
There's no conflict.
There's no like overarching
No
story.
resolution.
There's no goal for the character. Really. It's just kind of like these guys just going through freshman year of college. And it's not even that long of time. It's like a month. It's not like they go through the whole year. They just like, and they don't even start playing baseball until like halfway through the movie. It's just like them.
So strange.
It's just them like going to parties and clubs and then talking to chicks and then beating each other up.
Oh, okay.
So it was all right. It wasn't the best Linklater movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Not nearly as good as Dazed and Confused, which I think is probably the best comparison of Linklater movies. But yeah, that's on Prime.
Cool.
And that's all.
That's what you got?
All I have.
What's your biggest recommendation of all those?
Ooh,
Best of the week. Best of the weeks.
Best of the week. Probably. I mean, I guess I won't count Anora. That's like the best movie I watched.
That's good. Nor is a recommendation.
That and I'll do one. A Serious Man is probably of the quality movies. That's probably also that.
Have you seen Barton Fink?
No,
that's in the same realm. If you like that from Coen Brothers.
Oh yeah,
way more understated than their later stuff. So, all right, Tyler, what you got for streaming picks?
I have a couple of anti-streaming picks I want to get out of the way.
All right.
So I watched 2015's Burnt, starring Bradley Cooper.
Okay. Didn't like it, huh?
No.
Too intimidated by his rugged good looks?
No. So this is what I wrote on Letterboxd. I said, this movie was so pretentious and boring, had no substance. Cooper felt to me like the Kenny Pickett for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had the looks and the charm, but like Junior Soprano said in season 4, he couldn't sell it.
Okay.
Grade D, end of a report. Now, so the reason why I don't like this movie and I don't recommend it is because I watched this movie after experiencing the masterpiece that the television series is The Bear, which is essentially the same thing where it's about a genius chef who's thrown into a restaurant that's dying, and then he brings it back up to a standard Michelin star class kind of restaurant. And that's kind of what I was expecting with Burnt. There is some good, I think Cooper did some really good scenes of expressing the stressful nature of a fast-paced industry, but it just, again, couldn't sell it.
You didn't buy him as a chef?
No, because there was no like depth to his character. Like, you understand that the movie presents to you like, okay, so like he's like this world-renowned chef that worked under one of the greatest chefs in the world, blah 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 blah, but there's no like emotional like stakes.
Okay.
It's just kind of it's such a superficial movie.
So you're saying don't watch this?
Yeah, anti-streaming pick.
Okay.
So Burnt, that was streaming on Netflix, and yeah, I mean, just not great. It's just not. I was expecting more because
How long are you going to spend on this anti-streaming pick? Telling people not to watch it?
Well, give me 30 more seconds.
Okay.
I expected more from Bradley Cooper because I think that he does have the acting chops based on American Sniper, his performance in American Sniper, which I also didn't really like as well. He's not given depth like with his characters.
Not like Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, really.
Like he's given these characters that could have a bunch of depth to the plot, but whoever is writing for his character just kind of just smooth brains the complexity of who he's playing. So yeah, Burnt, don't watch that. Streaming on Netflix if you want. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I
like your contempt for the classmates.
And then second anti-streaming pick is 2024's My Old Ass.
My Old Ass, huh?
Yeah, did not like that movie. Oh my god, I did not like that movie.
What did you not like about it?
It just I try not to be a curmudgeon in my advancing age now towards the younger people, but there's a point where modern movies take the vernacular of younger people and incorporate them in the characters because they're young people, but it seems so unrealistic. But that's because I don't hang out with younger people, so
sure.
Perhaps maybe I'm the one who's out of touch, but this was a movie full with younger generational language that's being used that I didn't even know existed. We bring the boom! I mean, when you guys...
Is the Rizzler in it?
When you yeah, see...
Was the Rizzler in it?
It brings up to my point is, like, when you guys brought up the Rizzler, I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I have no idea what the hell that is. But maybe that's a testament to like what I surround myself with in my own circle of social media and the people who I hang around with.
Just mainly AI weeb shit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
So no My Old Ass.
Yeah. I mean, it stars Joseph's Aubrey Plaza.
What? My Aubrey Plaza?
Well, because he brought up Ingrid Goes West.
Oh.
So now you own her.
So I wrote in my review, it's okay. If I saw my future self, I would take a swing before any sage advice was given. Everyone knows about my attitude towards a future self or a clone.
Mm-hmm. Please clap.
All in all, it was a very basic coming of age story, and there is a certain plot point never revealed, and it burned me. Also, we see no old ass, which I had a really big problem with.
Not one ass to be seen.
Well, we see a young ass, but not an old ass.
That?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, C minus.
And that's Tyler's way.
C minus, don't watch.
Yeah, C minus, don't watch. Yeah.
Here goes another 10 minutes on it.
All right, and
now you got some actual recommends.
Yeah, actual recommend.
All right, here we go.
2023's Widow Cliquot. Is that how you say it?
What?
Widow Cliquot.
Can you spell it?
CLICQUOT.
I don't know. You watched the movie.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Don't they say the name in the movie?
I don't remember.
They don't say the name of the movie in the movie.
It's from 2023.
Widow Cliquot.
It's about
like Cliquot, yeah.
Cliquot. Is that
Cliquot?
Cliquot. Okay. It's about this lady who becomes a widow of a guy who's like this genius like winemaker.
Mm-hmm. She has to like take over the winery.
And she takes over the winery.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah,
I didn't know the name of it though.
It's very good. And the reason why I like it so much is because it's simple. It doesn't delve too much into like the grief aspect. Like it has like even amounts of like the grieving process, her being a businesswoman, the misogynistic nature of the wine business. It's all done very like with restraint to where it's not distracting in either one of those categories. The acting's really good. Cinematography is very, very much to the time that it's set in. Mm-hmm. Just awesome movie. Streaming on Netflix. I gave it a 3.5 stars.
Where'd you find this movie?
It was on my Netflix feed. So
no, but who recommended it to you?
No one. It was just I just
don't lie to me, Tyler. I can see your face over there.
Well,
was it a woman in your life?
Was it a woman?
Recommended this to you?
Perhaps. I found it on my Netflix feed and I thought it looked good, so
you did not type out.
All right, fine. Yeah, it was a fan of the show that recommended it to me.
Okay.
And then finally for my last streaming pick, I actually watched a bunch of movies over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot for myself, I should say.
That's good.
I caught up with Killers of the Flower Moon.
All right.
Martin Scorsese's
now
Killers of the Flower
we're
Moon.
talking, dude.
So this guy is a piece of shit. But yeah, rest in peace, I guess. No. Oh God, no. There's a lot of impact for this movie. So
Okay.
the reason why I never like considered watching this movie is because of the 3.5 hour runtime. As everyone knows, I don't like long movies. I have an attention span of a pet fish, and so I like a 1.5 to 2 hour movie, and then I'm done. So when I saw it was 3.5 hour movies, 3.5 hours of a movie, I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. And so I turned it on. This is on Apple TV or Apple.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus, which I canceled that subscription very quickly because there's nothing on there.
There's a lot on there.
I looked. I didn't see anything that caught my eye.
There's a lot of great stuff.
I still have my Paramount Plus subscription, if you can believe that.
Good. Well, that's going to come into play later. Paramount Plus subscription.
Well, so yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon is based on a true story of the Osage. Am I saying that correct?
Osage.
Osage. Okay. The Osage tribe and the tragedies that they went through in Oklahoma. God damn, this is a really depressing movie, but this movie does not feel like 3.5 hours. I was engaged the whole time.
That's good.
So I wrote, so I wrote on Letterboxd. As everyone knows, I am not a fan of very long movies, and it is why I steered clear of this film for a long time. However, one night I found myself after work watching this film, and it did not feel like 3 hours. I found little to no lulls throughout the movie, and the subject matter compelled me to look further on the true story this was based on. This film had great music and depictions of grief. I'm so glad I dove in because I think this film will be regarded as a classic.
Tyler reads his own letterboxd reviews.
Yeah.
This is me, myself, and Tyler.
And I think this is one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances because he's always paying.
He looks like a sweaty mass in this.
I mean, just like the costume, like the makeup,
like a homunculus.
Like he has like the like messed up teeth, like and he has like the horrible haircut, and he's just a overall detestable person throughout the whole movie.
What does she see in him?
See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what? But so I don't know. I won't get into it too much, but other than that, I think this movie is definitely worth the time. And I didn't feel like I was sitting there for 3 hours, like at all.
It's good to hear.
Yeah,
I still need to watch it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good movie.
Good, awesome.
Other than that, that's
what you got. All right. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through a couple things. Number one, we have a new Patreon subscriber. What? That's right. Where is my little?
Yeah. Please clap.
Old Trip Affleck on the chat sent us
Old Trip Affleck.
He sent us a couple of we've never got one before. Super thanks.
Macaronis.
Yeah, super thanks in the chat. Which is basically just send money to the page.
Wait, he sent some ZD?
Yeah, he sent some scratch. And we're officially monetized on the YouTube channel now, but not through views. So you can if you buy merch through whatever, we get money from it, which we do anyways. And then, but you can do these things called super thanks, where you just basically say, "Hey, love the show. Here's $10," which Trip did, and then during the break, he signed up for the Patreon.
It's like we're busking, and you just dropped $1 in our guitar case.
That's right.
Do you think that's the future of begging on the streets
future?
Now? We just take microphones out on the street corner and we just start talking.
It already is like that.
Yeah,
it's like the TikTok lives.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right.
Oh yeah, the TikTok. What do they call them? NPC chat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
Well, we gotta be like the Costco guys.
We bring the boom.
We gotta get our families. Go to a large Winco guys.
No, we could be the Sam's Club guys.
Sam's Club guys, Winco guys.
I'll bring my 10-year-old nephew down. Yeah. Make him obese. Anyways, so we've got the new subscriber. Thank you so much, Trip, for the subscription to the Patreon. I really appreciate that. And then, what was the other thing I was going to say? Joseph, you're at 511 movies this year. I'm at 487.
Oh,
wow. You've surpassed me.
Well, I'm sure you'll still make it to 500.
Well, I will. I'll make it 500.
Well, I will, yeah.
That's
Don't worry
sure.
about that.
But last year I was at 624, and I'm behind, which I'm happy about because I spent too much time watching movies last year. Okay.
So on that Meat Boy grind. So.
Hell yeah, Meat Boy, dude. All right, so I revisited an early review on our show, 310 to Yuma, the Russell Crowe, Christian Bale joint. Love that movie. It's really good. It's streaming on Fubo, Netflix, Paramount Plus. It's still amazing. It's still one of the greatest and most entertaining Westerns in the modern age, in my opinion. It's Ben Foster's best role. Christian Bale plays the rare defeated man in this, and Crowe is as charming and menacing as ever. So also has a killer supporting cast and a really good finale. So can't go wrong with that. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. 310 to Yuma is fucking great. I watched through Mystery Science Theater 3000, which Trip was talking about how he was watching that today. They must be doing it again because on Thursday they did an all day long Shout Factory's YouTube channel live stream of all this old MST3K stuff.
Oh, okay.
And in between the actual movies, they had celebrity interstitials. They had Mark Hamill on, David Dastmalchian, a bunch of other people. And I watched my favorite of all time. It just happened to be when I was prepping the food to take to my mom's house. Space Mutiny from 1988.
Space Mutiny.
Have you guys seen that one?
No, can't say I've even heard of it before.
It's basically just a Star Wars ripoff with it's like a mutiny on the spaceship, and there's a race of ultra hot female aliens that come on board, and a bunch of them are trying to seduce them, and they have telekinetic powers, and one of the guys is clearly the leading man. He's a big burly dude with longish blonde hair. And every time he's on screen, the Tom Servo, Crow, and Joel are saying, or Mike are saying, Clint Rockfist, Big McLarge Huge. Like they're giving him these like traditionally ridiculous names for like a leading man.
What was that one movie we watched? The guy with that had like the blonde hair and like the handlebar mustache.
Yeah, you gotta give me a little bit more.
It was like they were like filming like a cheesy movie.
Gentlemen Broncos.
Gentlemen Broncos.
Oh yeah. So anyways, that Space Mutiny is one of my favorite all-time mystery science theater movies. And if you want to watch some of them, Shout Factory's YouTube channel is pretty much everything.
Did you watch Space Mutiny like without the
on
mysteries?
its own?
Yeah, on its own or
No. That's a terrible movie. It's only fun because you're watching it with the mystery science guys.
All right.
Okay, so and then I caught up with one of Joseph's streaming picks, Out of Darkness.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. It was beautifully shot, fantastically acted, but I can't imagine where they would even start as an actor or a director when filming a movie in a fictional native language. Like you're almost directing like, oh, that gibberish sounded too gibberishy. We got to take that take again. Make up some different gibberish.
They're also like Neanderthals. Almost.
Yeah, they're all cavemen. Yeah, cavemen and cavewomen. But the execution was really good. I think the feeling of hopelessness and dread was pretty impressive. If you're looking for that. But just all in all, just the kind of natural light look of the whole thing was cool. And a really interesting first feature for like a low indie budget project. I thought it was pretty cool. That is streaming on, let's see here, Paramount, Fubo, and just like Paramount and Fubo. Okay, so that's that. A couple of series that I watched. It's Florida Man on Max. You guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't, but please go on.
It's like Drunk History, where they take, but instead of like historical events, they take events that happen in Florida, and the people that it actually happened to are telling the story instead of just some historian.
Okay.
So it's like...
Or a celebrity.
Well, the celebrities are acting it out in Drunk History.
Yeah, but they're the ones that are telling it in Drunk History.
Yeah, it could be a celebrity who just knows a lot about that story historically, or a historian. In this one, they do have famous actors acting out the story, and just like Drunk History, they're like talking along with the same vernacular that the person is. They're like, I went over there and I told her, hey man, you got to leave us alone. And then Anna Faris is like, hey man, you need to leave us alone. And there's what's his name? Simon Rex from the aforementioned Red Rocket plays a character in it. One of the characters. Like one of the stories is Florida Man decides to swim in this lake and he gets his arm bitten off by an alligator.
Yep.
And he's out there for 3 days before he's rescued.
Yeah. And no arm.
But no arm. And the story itself is like, okay, I could understand that. You hear that gator attack in Florida. Okay. What's so special about this? The real guy who got his arm taken off is telling the story, and he is insane. He is an insane person.
I was out there in the swamp one day, looking for some crawdads, and then all of a sudden, the damn gator came up and took my right arm. Was out there for 2 days.
It's way worse than you imagine. He's insane. He's an insane person. There's a story about two lovers where one of them tried to like burn the other one's trailer down, and then they got caught and got taken to jail. And it's like every story that they tell throughout like the 6 or 7 episodes or whatever, you think you know where it's going, and then a turn happens, and you're like, this got even crazier. And then it turns again, and it gets even crazier, and you're just like, what the fuck? You remember that viral picture of a mugshot of a guy with a really thick neck?
Yes.
Really thick neck, like a pyramid to his top of his head.
It's like almost like a thumb.
They got that guy.
He looked like a Butterball from Hellraiser.
They found that guy, and he has his own story. They found him. He does the final episode. And they interview him about how he became a celebrity and what happened from it. This weird internet celebrity. And it's fascinating. So that series is great. It's limited. It's like 7 episodes or something like that. I cannot imagine they won't make a season 2, because this is really funny. This is really funny.
Awesome.
So it's called It's Florida Man. It's Florida, Man. And that's on Max. Season 2 of Arcane is out. All episodes are now out. We watched all of them, Brianna and I. And whatever you're doing, stop doing it and go watch Arcane. It's one of the best animated shows I've ever seen. It's really good. and it's only 2 seasons. I think the story's a little not as good in season 2, but the animation is just as phenomenal. They mix media types. They do, there's some sketches and some.
Well, I mean, what's it about?
It's based off of League of Legends. I've never played League of Legends. I don't even know how to play League of Legends. I don't know shit about it. So you don't need to watch the game or know anything about the game to watch the series. But season 1 is about 2 characters, Violet and Powder, who ends up changing her name to Jinx. And they're sisters. Their mother is killed, and their father figure is killed early on in the series. And Powder is this young girl, and she kind of gets taken under the wing of this villain underworld mob boss called Sicko. And they have this tumultuous sort of relationship. And she's got schizophrenia or something like that. And she has a weird, will they, won't they, Joker and Harley Quinn relationship with Sicko. But it's weird because he's 25 years older than her and picked her up as a child, and you're never quite sure what's happening. So it's a very complicated relationship, great characters. And after season 2, she becomes the main protagonist at the end of season 1, Jinx. In season 2, she kind of is, and it changes. It's weird. It follows 3 or 4 different antagonists. And there is a character that you thought was gone from season 1 who comes back and is very good.
Is this hand-drawn animation? Or does it look like it's hand-drawn? 2D?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like Spider-Verse.
Okay.
In the sense that you're not getting...
Nimona.
Yeah, very similar to Nimona.
Okay.
So if there's not always continuity in the animation style. Like I said, it goes through a lot of... And it feels almost like some scenes are a series of music videos kind of put together with the fight sequences. So it's really good. If you like animation, watch it. It's on Netflix, so it's really easily accessible, and they're not doing a season 3. So season 1 and 2 are done, so you can watch the series back to back. Okay, on to the movies. Terrible movie. Well, not terrible. A really weird movie that I didn't love on Freevee, Peacock, and Amazon Prime and Tubi called The Passion of Darkly Noon. From 1995. Darkly Noon. It's the character played by Brendan Fraser. His name is Darkly Noon. This is also starring Ashley Judd, Viggo Mortensen.
What?
Yeah. And it's directed by this guy named Philip Ridley, written and directed by. He also wrote and directed this movie called The Reflecting Skin, which was a weird Days of Heaven sort of style movie about a vampire living in a house in the prairies or plains or something like that.
Okay. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched it a couple years ago, and it was very strange. This was also very strange.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it reminded me. Brendan Fraser comes into Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
he's in it.
He's a lawyer or something like that.
It was shocking because he the first scene he does, he stands up and he's just like, I don't know why I sound like he just has anyways,
silly voice.
Sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
I say.
Yeah. So, anyways, Passion of Darkly Noon. If you want something weird, it's like a storybook came to life. That's very oversaturated, blown out, overexposed video the entire time.
Oh.
And Brendan Fraser is basically a cult escape. He's was a young boy. Now he's a young man. Escaped this cult. His parents are dead supposedly, and he finds this house in the middle of nowhere. And Ashley Judd is in there, and she's just like a nymph. She's super sexualized, and he's very sexually repressed. And then Viggo Mortensen is her man, but he's a mute. So there's this struggle there. It's super weird, but I found about it on what's it called? Force 5. It's Underseen Gems or something like that. If you go on if you go on Letterboxd, it's got less than 1,000 views on it or something like that.
Jeez.
So anyway, so that's Passion of Darkly Noon. I'm going through the Omen series. So I watched the first one. That's old news. But Damien: Omen 2, 1978, is a surprisingly shocking and violent movie. I know that the Omen has got some deaths in it, it's all for you, Damien, jumping and the hanging and all that kind of stuff.
Very shocking.
There are 2 deaths in this movie that are fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it's not streaming anywhere. You got to watch it or rent it for $4. So I won't spend much time talking about it, but better than I expected. It's a 3-star movie, but it would be a 2.5 if it wasn't for those 2 crazy deaths.
What did you think about the Omen remake?
Loved it.
Yeah, I did too.
Fantastic.
Wait, the first Omen?
The first Omen, yeah. The prequel.
Yeah. No, not the prequel. The one that came out in 2006.
Oh, that one.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a step down from the original Omen. The
With,
original Omen's pretty good.
yeah.
Lieb Schreiber and what's her name?
Yeah.
All right, next up, a very strange, underseen, another gem movie that you can only watch on Screambox, which is a division of Amazon Prime. It's like one of those add-ons you can get.
Screambox.
It's kind of like Shudder.
Yeah.
It's all horror movies. It's called Norway from 2014.
All right.
It's a vampire movie that's set in Germany, I think.
Not Norway.
No, it's not Norway.
Weird.
You'd think so. It's actually set in Greece. It's in Athens. But the main guy, the main vampire I think he's from Norway.
Oh, okay.
But it's a total vibe movie with a more or less a plot that I never quite followed. I can never quite
Is it
understand
like
it.
set in modern day or?
It's in the 80s.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
80s like dance culture, underground dance.
When was it made?
2014.
Oh, okay.
It's worth your time if you're a vampire completist. I found out about it because Dan Stevens was giving his top 4 Letterboxd on whatever red carpet, and he mentioned this movie, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this movie, vampire movie.
Norway.
So I bought it from
set in Germany.
what's it called? Terrorvision. Boutique,
Screambox, Terrorvision.
boutique label.
Come on.
It's the same place that I got Frogman from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but Norway, it's a really trippy movie. It's very vibey. So
Cool.
Mild recommend from Amazon Prime. Brothers from 2024 just came out. That's the one with Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage where they play twin brothers.
So it's like twins.
It's like Tiptoes mixed with twins.
Oh.
What's that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito film?
I don't know. Never heard of it.
They were in a movie together?
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yes.
Where they played
Twins?
Twins?
I don't know. We'll never know.
Wait a minute, is that
Anyways.
what it's called? Twins?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. I thought it was something else.
So this movie's very uneven, but there are some amazing scenes in it that are like peppered throughout. It felt a little aimless and kind of repetitive, but Brendan Fraser is also in this, and he plays a villain, and he plays a very weird, goofy villain.
There was a scene that takes place in a bathtub that looked like Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he's like threatening Peter Dinklage in a bathtub with a machine gun. It's like I said, it's really uneven, but I feel like it's trying to be like 6 or 7 different movies and paying homage to like 6 or 7 actual specific movies. As you watch it, I'm like, oh, this is just like that scene from so-and-so. This is like the scenes from the Coen Brothers or whatever.
Is the little person thing brought up in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's the smart one, and Josh Brolin is the big dumb one. They're brothers. And I feel like Brolin's character was really complex in a way that they could have spent a lot more time exploring. And he's really the only role that was given a real like spot to shine in the whole like acting department. Like, he has 1 or 2 scenes that you're like, damn, this is really deep and heartfelt. But the weird thing about it is it's directed by or written by Macon Blair.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like written by Macon Blair, directed by this guy named Max Barbacow. Never heard of him before.
Barbacow.
But it's just a weird, really uneven movie. So I think it's worth looking at, but it's not great.
It's a Prime release, isn't it?
It's a Prime movie, yeah. I won't say much about My Old Ass. I watched it. I liked it more than Tyler. But I didn't love it. I've heard a lot of like fantastic raving reviews about it. And it was, if I was like a teenage girl in my 20s or something like that, I feel like it would mean a lot more to me. But I wasn't turned off by the cringe a little. Her character is a little too snarky for me.
Which one?
The main character.
The young person?
Yeah, she's played by whatever her name is, Maisie Stella.
Yeah.
And she was. I thought she was good, but maybe a tiny bit too snarky and like too sure of herself. But I think that's the point because near the end she kind of grows a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We're not going to end it.
Okay.
It's streaming on Prime. You know, I think you know what you're getting yourself into if you want to watch it. A movie that I found that I never heard of also before on Tubi from 2017. It's called Hostels, starring Christian Bale.
Never heard of it?
No, never
really.
heard of it.
I never seen it, but
isn't that the sequel to Hostel?
No, Hostiles. It's like hostile territory.
Isn't it pronounced Hostiles?
It's pronounced Hostels.
I know that was a joke.
Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, Wes Studi, who's like a Chief Yellowhawk. He plays a character, Chief Yellowhawk. Jesse Plemons, Rory Cochrane, Paul Anderson, Timothy Chalamet, Ben Foster, Jonathan Majors,
Really? Damn.
Koryanka Kilcher, Bill Camp, Huge cast.
Man, what a cast.
I know. And this did not disappoint. It was really good. Basically, Christian Bale plays like an army general or captain or something like that, and he's trying to retire. And his like lead guy, his general or whatever, gives him the duty, his final duty, to escort this Native American chief and his family from their captiveness to his homeland. He's going to die. They know it. And they say, we're going to give you the honor of being buried in your own land. So they basically transports him across country to be buried in his own ceremonial land. And obviously Christian Bale does not like Indians in this.
Oh.
I'm using the vernacular from the movie, but he's like, I don't like them. And there's multiple factions. Obviously there's Apaches and there's Cheyenne and all this kind of stuff. And the Apaches are the particularly violent ones, and they're being chased by Apaches more or less. Apaches. And Rosamund Pike is played as the widowed wife of a man whose her husband and her 2 young children were slaughtered like immediately at the beginning of the movie.
Jeez.
Brutally too. Like you'd see the kids die and everything. So you get a really good sense of how she feels about it, and then Christian Bale has his whole backstory. It was really good. So that's streaming only on Tubi for free. Everywhere else you got to rent it.
All right.
Watched Mads, MADS, on Shudder. That is from this year. It is a true one-shot movie. There's no cheats. There's no trick edits. So that gives it an extra like half, maybe a full star bump just from the production aspect of it.
A Day in the Life of Mads
No, this is a zombie movie.
Oh.
And this guy does an unknown drug.
Well, more or less the same.
He just does an unknown drug, a little bump at his drug dealer's house, and it's like red cocaine, basically. He snorts it, and then bad things happen to him and anybody else that snorts it.
Wait a minute, that was
like,
just cinnamon mints.
It's not like Enter the Void.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
because that's like a trip the whole time.
It's yeah. I mean, it felt like I've only seen like half Into the Void, and it felt like that at times, or like Irreversible, where you're just following this character and the camera's constantly following them and stuff. But just from a production standpoint, really good and really interesting. I give it 4 stars. I think a lot of people might give it less, but the main character at one point switches, and when it does, settle in for some really good acting, because the new main character in the second half does some acting on a bicycle. Like she's on a bike trying to go across town.
Oh.
And she's having this full-on meltdown, like possession style on the bicycle. And
like
you're like
psychotic, like,
well, she's a zombie, she's turning. And you're like, holy fuck, this is really good. Like this is hard enough to do on the ground, stationary.
But now she's doing it on
being able to take
on 2 wheels,
to being able to do multiple takes and do it over again. But it's like, this is at the end of an hour and a half long movie. She's an hour into it, and she's riding a bike towards the camera as they're going across town and having this conniption on the back of the bike. It's really impressive. So that's streaming on Shudder. Watch that. And then a classic, my first Francois Truffaut movie I've ever watched, from 1968, The Bride Wore Black. This is streaming on Amazon Prime, and this is badass. This is a movie about a woman whose husband gets killed on their wedding day on the steps of the church as they're leaving the church. And
he gets shot?
He gets shot and killed, yeah. And the rest of the movie is her tracking down the men responsible and killing them. And she has no use for life anymore. She says, when he died, I died too. But instead of killing herself, which she tries to do at the beginning of the movie, she decides to enact revenge.
It's like The Crow.
It's like, yes, The Crow wore black.
The Crow.
But this is 1968. Again, like I said, it's streaming on Amazon Prime. It's in French. It's dubbed in English. I don't know if you can watch the subtitled version, because the first half, the first like 10 minutes is in English, and then it switches to clearly they're recorded speaking French, and then they just dub over it in English. But there's notes of Les Samurai in this. There's notes of Lady Snowblood, Kill Bill a little bit. And then and at the entire time, the main actress, she's very charismatic, Jean Moreau. I've never seen her in anything else, but I recognize the face. And she was really good. She was convincing, captivating, entrancing. You know, she uses her sex and seduction as the main mode of trapping these chauvinistic men. And a few times I'm like, oh, that guy's going to go out on the balcony. oh, it's not going to end well for him. Oh, the handkerchief's now on the tree. Oh, there he goes. And you're like, you kind of see a lot of it happening. But from my understanding, I know Truffaut was like a part of like French New Wave or whatever. At least I think so. And he's very influential. I've never seen any of his stuff before. And this was really good.
Nice.
This is fantastic movie. So that's everything I have.
Okay.
Anything else, fellas?
We're
good?
I think so. I feel like there's still something on like to talk about, but
I know. I remember. I want to assign all three of us the red one.
Yes.
Red one. It's the new
for next week.
For next week, so we can watch. We can all talk about it during streaming picks.
Yes.
Let me make sure it is.
I gotta go give that movie money. Movie money?
No, it's streaming.
Theater movie
Pretty
money.
sure. Let's see here. Red
Is it
one.
streaming?
It's streaming. Let me see.
I thought it was theater only.
It's theater only. Okay, we're pivoting. Dear Santa, the Jack Black shitty Christmas movie.
Dear Santa.
It's he plays Satan, and the kid writes a letter to Satan on accident.
Oh, really?
Why does
Yeah.
this movie sound so familiar?
It just came out.
It's brand new.
Just came out.
Someone told me about this movie.
Perhaps because it just came out.
I don't know. A lot of people are
Dear
always coming up
Santa.
saying, "Hey, what this movie?"
I love how Tyler in your own letterbox reviews you say, "As everybody knows,"
As if everybody's supposed to know.
I don't like long movies.
Your mom told you.
Oh wait, she did. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
The one that gave you life told you, and you don't even remember. So, Dear Santa just came out, like literally just came
Dear
out.
Santa.
It's an hour and 48 minutes long. It's PG-13 and it's streaming on Fubo and Paramount Plus. You guys all have Paramount Plus?
Yep.
I do.
Cool. So let's watch that and we'll talk about that in streaming picks next week.
So, Dear Santa.
Dear Santa. All right. I'm sorry, I forgot to thank our Patreon. So thank you to the cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Steven, Michael, and Chris. If you want to support us just like Trip did today and became part of the class, you can join us on patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch or listen to the YouTube channel as well. That helps too. Until next time. Thank you for joining us as we don't watch Cyrus or Lars and the Real Girl. Follow us next week as maybe we watch both. We don't know. We haven't figured it out yet.
Perhaps.
Yes. We're going to need to pay our penance. Joseph and I have some punishments movies, and we're all going to watch Dear Santa.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, and go to the show notes on Spotify to find our voicemail number. We'd like to hear from you in real time. Is not other than the chat. Sorry, I kind of switched it up.
Okay, and follow us on Twitter at PodcastMC and on TikTok, Middle Class Film Class.
There you go. See you later.
See ya.
See ya.
It's great. It's a really good movie.
Class dismissed. I gotta get out of here. The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later. See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.